So right up front, spoiler warning for the entire first season of The Flash. Yeah, I'm letting you guys know right off the bat. I watched the entire first season within a couple months' time at least. I've been watching it on Hulu, trying to catch up for season 2, and I finally bought the rest of the episodes on iTunes. They were like $3 a piece. So I figured, why the hell not? I'm going to buy the rest of them, and I'm going to watch from there because I can't wait any longer. And if you want to know my quick thoughts on Arrow real quick, since they are in the same universe cinematically, here's my general thoughts on each season. Season 1 of Arrow, pretty good. Takes a little while to get going, but after about 5 episodes, then it picks up steam. Season 2, perfect. That's awesome. Slade Wilson is badass. Stephen Amell is really good as Oliver Queen. Season 3, from what I've watched, well, it's fine, but it's definitely a step down. And the Olicity romance, boy. Oh, there's a reason why I stopped watching it. I couldn't take it. But now we gotta talk about season 1 of The Flash, so here we go. I don't have supersonic speed. Thanks a lot, Barry. Hey, quit loading over there. If my voice sounds a bit raspy or hoarse, I apologize. I'm a bit sick, I got a sore throat, so we'll try to get through this as quickly as I can, and hopefully I won't be able to scream, otherwise I'm going to lose my voice forever. Alright, so season 1 of Flash. It's a CW series. It's one of the most popular superhero shows out there. I mean, we don't have just the movies to focus on, we also got TV shows to focus on as well. Barry Allen first shows up in season 2 of Flash as a police forensic analyst. Some freak accident happens with a particle accelerator. He's struck by lightning, and he has the ability to move quickly from place to place. And over the course of this season, he learns how to hone his abilities as the Flash, with the help of Dr. Harrison Wells, Caitlin Snow, and Cisco Ramon, and also his adoptive father, Detective Joe West. All the while, he's trying to figure out what happened to his mother the night she died when he was a boy, all due to a man in a yellow suit. And because of that, Barry Allen's father, Henry Allen, I believe, is sent to prison for her murder. Now, even with Arrow Season 1, when I first heard about The Flash, I go, it's a CW show, really? What would I like about this? I was really wrong. This show, oh my goodness, this first season anyway, what a great season. It's hard for me to say without just going, I mean, it has a couple of bumps in quality, like with the first season of Arrow. A couple episodes, it's building up these characters, and you're still trying to get things going, but about 6 episodes in or so, that's when it starts to pick up steam. For a superhero show on the CW, this actually proves to be a lot better than it would originally appear to a general audience. And CW, I guess, has a tendency to promote a lot of teen drama shows, and this has a little bit of that here and there, but not as much as you would fear it would have. Let me give you guys a little bit of my history with the character of the Flash. The first time I ever heard about the Flash was the movie Catch Me If You Can. You know how Leonardo DiCaprio takes on the name Barry Allen when Tom Hanks confronts him in that hotel room? And he tells him, "My name's Allen, Barry Allen, United States Secret Service." And then Tom Hanks later finds out that the guy was a poser, and he runs down the name, and he's in this restaurant, and this waiter who's pouring him some coffee goes, "Are you a collector, sir?" "Of what?" "Captain of the Cosmic Rays, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "What are you talking about?" "Barry Allen, the Flash." That's when I went, oh, Barry Allen's the name of the Flash, okay. Which is why in season 2 of Arrow, he first shows up, and he goes, "Who the heck is this kid?" And Oliver goes, "What's your name?" "Barry. Barry Allen." It's like, Barry Allen. Oh my god! I was flipping out. Oh man, I'll never forget that. But what's good about this show? Well, first of all, the actors for one are spot on, for the most part. I mean, I'll address that in a little bit, but first of all, Grant Gustin as Barry Allen the Flash. Now, I don't know anything about the character of Barry Allen. I mean, he's the most recognizable Flash character. There's others like Wally West or Jake Garrett or something like that. But Grant Gustin, he is really good as the character. He's probably the best actor they could have gotten for this character. Grant Gustin has that right combination of nerdiness, socially awkwardness, but he also is really great at balancing the dramatic chops that's required when he's having conversations with Joe, his adoptive father, and his real father when he goes to visit him in prison. Who, by the way, the actor, his name escapes me at the moment. It's actually the actor from the original Flash series from the 90s, which I've never watched. But the actor who plays Barry's father, also great. You really root for him, and for Barry also, because you know he didn't kill Barry's mom, and you want Barry to succeed in finding out what happened that night. And also, his adoptive father, Detective Joe West, he's probably my favorite character outside of Barry Allen, along with Cisco. We'll talk about Cisco later. But Joe, at first I thought, I don't know about this guy. He's a little too harsh on Barry, but after a while, I really grew to like him, and he really does care about Barry, and also his daughter Iris. And he's really dedicated to his job, and he doesn't quite understand everything that goes on with Barry and the metahumans villains trying to track them all down, but he doesn't hesitate to help Barry once the job requires it. I also like Joe's partner, Eddie. At first I thought he was just some kind of a cliched rival love interest, but about halfway through I grew to really like him, especially in the end, in the season finale. We'll talk about the season finale in a minute. Try not to fanboy out too much over the season finale, because that's the one I really want to talk about. And probably my third favorite character in the show so far is Cisco. He is hilarious. I love that character. First, he started out kind of a cardboard cutout character with his jokes and everything, because he is essentially the comic relief of the show. But I couldn't help but really like the guy. And as the season went on, he got a little more interesting by the end, especially with his brother, who had become really jealous of him, since Cisco's very smart and very into science, and he went to do his own thing, whereas his brother kind of did what his parents wanted him to do. And for those who may not really be big fans of Cisco, I thought once that storyline got introduced, it made him a lot more grounded and a little bit more relatable. I actually relate to Cisco the most, even a little bit more than Barry personally, because I love the movie references, and it just reminds me of when I'm at work with my work pals and I reference a movie and everybody's just like, you and your movies, man. And I especially love it when he goes, a Jedi craves not these things. I was laughing my butt off when he said that. Oh my god. And some of my flaws with the show, I mean, some episodes are essentially set up. I can't remember each episode off the top of my head. But as far as two characters go, that I was kind of, I don't know. But after a while, I was okay with them. Iris, I think she's fine. I don't think she's like an amazing character or anything, but sometimes I think she comes off as a little bit of a bitch, especially with Eddie and Barry, considering the romantic feelings they have for her. But overall, I think she's fine. And another character that at first I really did not like was Caitlin. I mean, after a while, I was alright with her once she found out what was happening with her fiance, Ronnie. But Caitlin, I thought, was a little too uptight at first and too overly serious. Like, there was this one time in the show when Barry almost got hurt really bad, and she kind of had this reaction of like, I don't know what it was. It was just the look, and I just went, whoa, honey, hold up on the aggression, would you? It really got under my skin, and I just thought, is she gonna be like this the entire time? But after a while, once she finds out what happens with her fiance, Ronnie, I was okay with her, and there is a little bit of a hint of a romantic connection between her and Barry, which I'm kind of glad they didn't pursue, because I didn't really see them being a romantic couple. And please do not do an Olicity thing with him. Please don't do that. I don't want that. And besides, she already marries Ronnie by the end of the season, so I don't really see the point to kill him off either. And speaking of the Firestorm thing, I thought the Firestorm thing was awesome. I mean, the fact that he and Dr. Martin Stein, played by Victor Garber, are able to merge their bodies together and essentially become the Human Torch because they can fly, they can spew out fire. I thought that was a really cool way to explain what happened to Ronnie after the particle accelerator explosion. And also, I forget the actor's name, he's Captain Hadley in The Shawshank Redemption. He's essentially that typical gruff army general that you usually see in movies, who's trying to power his army by creating super soldiers. But he is really good here, especially in the Gorilla Grodd episode. Grodd! And speaking of villains, this show has some really cool side villains. Unlike Arrow Season 1, I don't really remember a whole ton of villains from that season, except for maybe the Count, Vertigo, or the Firefly, who shows up as a firefighter. But Season 2 has got one memorable villain, Slade Wilson. I mean, how can you top Slade Wilson? This one's got the Reverse Flash, but aside from Reverse Flash, you also got Gorilla Grodd, Captain Cold, and the Trickster. Mark Hamill as the Trickster. Oh my god, I loved that episode. That was probably my favorite episode by far.
Ooh, it's active! Run!
I love Mark Hamill. He is awesome as the Trickster. And I can't wait to see him in Force Awakens later this year. It's going to be badass. But that Trickster episode is also a really good example of how the tone works in the show. The show, in comparison to Arrow, is very lighthearted, but it does know when to take itself seriously with the characters, and it doesn't come off as forced or showy. But back to some of the side villains, Gorilla Grodd, I really thought he was a really cool villain. He was crazy, he was frightening, and the stuff he was able to do, like the telepathy, it was kind of haunting, really, because he was basically tortured by his creators, or possibly Dr. Wells, I don't know. And when Joe hands him the banana, and he slaps away, he's like, Grodd, hate banana. Kind of reminds me of Planet of the Apes. Koba belong in cage. And Leonard Snart, Captain Cold, he's a pretty cool bad guy. He embraces that campiness and he just goes with it. He just does not care how crazy it is. And it's funny how he and the guy who plays that Heat guy or whatever his name is, both actors from Prison Break. How interesting is that? But of course, you've all been waiting for it, the Reverse Flash. When you first meet Dr. Harrison Wells, he comes off as a very genuinely nice guy, very noble, very humble kind of guy, and very intelligent also. But even so, when you first meet this guy, he has this look on his face where you're like, something isn't entirely right there. I think it's the first or second episode when he's in his private room and he stands up out of his wheelchair because his whole gag is the particle accelerator explosion paralyzed him. But then when he's in his secret room and he gets up, immediately you're like, okay, what is up with that? And of course, as the series goes along, you find out that he is essentially the man in the yellow suit, the one that killed Barry's mom. But at first, it kind of plays a trick on you because the episode that takes place in Christmas time, when they trap the Reverse Flash inside that force field and Harrison Wells is in the wheelchair, at first you kind of go, wait a minute. Is he he's not the Reverse Flash. Maybe he's in cahoots with him? But then it turns out it was just a mirage that he left there in order to trick the police and throw off any suspicion. And also, just a little side note, when he just knocks down Eddie, and Eddie's like, why didn't he kill me? And then you later find out that Eddie is Eobard Thawne's ancestor, his great-great-great-great-grandfather. And that plays out very well in the season finale. And you also find out that the real Harrison Wells is dead. Eobard Thawne, the night that he killed Barry's mom, is unable to get back home to his normal time in the future. So he stalks Harrison Wells, causes a car accident, and kills him and takes on his identity. And I also think that the Reverse Flash is probably one of the best villains I've ever seen on screen, TV or movies. And his reason for why he kills Barry's mom, as he says to Barry simply, because I hate you. You do get a sense that Barry has done some things to the Reverse Flash that he's obviously not really happy with him about, which is essentially why he goes back in time and kills Barry's mom. And speaking of that, the season finale, when Barry comes up with a plan to go back in time to save his mom from being killed, because you essentially find out that there were two speedsters in the room that night, Barry and the Reverse Flash, considering there were red streaks flying around. After talking with Dr. Stein, Joe, Iris, and everybody else, for a while, I thought he was actually going to go back in time and save his mom from dying. But then a part of me went, I don't think he's going to do it, because he has grown into his present situation, having Joe as his father figure and living with Iris. When he does get back to that time period, he sees the other him, who is fighting the Reverse Flash in the room, sees him, and he goes, don't. You'll mess up the timeline. And Barry reluctantly lets it happen. And that scene, when he goes to his mother's side, oh man, that was an emotional scene right there, because he never really got to say goodbye to his mother. Oh my God. I'm gonna cry thinking about it. It's such a sad scene. But even though he doesn't get to save his mom, because as he says later to the Reverse Flash, I already do have it all, because he cares deeply about Joe and Iris, that he's not willing to give that up, which I think makes a lot of sense. He at least got to have one final word with his mom before she passed away. And the final thing that really gets to you, right when Barry and Dr. Wells are fighting each other, and the Reverse Flash is about to go in for the kill, you hear a gunshot. And you go, what? And it turns out Eddie shot himself in the heart. And when they show him with the blood splat over his chest, I literally went, no! No! But it also made sense because it was the only way to stop him. And therefore he is erased from existence, as Doc Brown would say. And the final part of that episode, that is probably one of the best cliffhangers that I've ever seen. This big wormhole opens up, creating a paradox because the Reverse Flash was supposed to go back in time and kill Barry's mom, with the Flash going after him. Now that supposedly never happened, so it kind of makes me wonder, how exactly are they going to fit this all in with Season 2? And I actually heard that they might have a little bit of a plan with an alternate reality, and this character Jay Garrick might be in there, and that Dr. Harrison Wells might show up there in some capacity. Maybe the actual Harrison Wells might show up in the alternate timeline had he never been killed. Who knows? I'm just really excited to see what happens after this. Because the TV show so far, Flash, you got my thumbs up, buddy. It does have some bumpy parts. Two characters took a while to grow on me a little bit, but so far this season has been pretty solid, and I cannot wait for Season 2. And also, here's hoping that Season 4 of Arrow turns out to be good, because with Season 3, it took a step down in terms of quality. I mean, it was fine from what I saw, but it was definitely a step down, so hopefully Season 4 turns out to be good. But what did you guys think of The Flash Season 1? Did you like it? You love it? You hate it? You thought it was alright? Whatever you thought, just comment below and tell me what you thought, and I'll see you guys next time.